Hey everyone, it's Louisa Tanner. Let me just start that again. It's Louisa Tanner Munson in the morning, not Louisa Tanner morning. Wow, it is early. It's not quite as early as I normally get up on a Wednesday when I'm talking to the lovely Rick Purcell in Bali. But this week he is actually having a bit of a party because there is the festival called Nyepi, which occurs on the day of the new moon in Pisces every year. Now, it's new moon time, and so there's a lovely astrology today. And actually, this is my new moon of, we all have a new moon that really fits in with our astrology, according to where the moon was when we were born. And today is my new moon, and it's also my lunar return. So it's a really big day. So I am here to talk to you about what I'm terming the Enlightenment Gateway. I've no idea if that is actually what it's called. I've just made it up. I mean, I think that's what everyone does these days anyway. But what we've got is a series of astrological events occurring from today's new moon in Pisces and taking us all the way through to the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in April, on April the 12th, 2022. Now, I see this time as being a hugely intuitive time whereby we can learn so much about ourselves and we can let go of a lot of things and we can kind of find forgiveness and compassion for ourselves. And so I wanted to just share with you some of the themes of today's new moon and also the other key steps, just a few of them, leading up to the so-called Enlightenment conjunction. I'm going to be talking about the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in separate videos as well, because it also starts a whole new, not epoch, I don't want to be too dramatic, but the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction occurs every 13 years, and each of those 13-year cycles has a bit of a flavor. And this is a very important one. This is the last one in this whole cycle, from the sign of Aries right the way through to the Jupiter and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Just to kind of let you know, the cycle of Jupiter and Neptune takes 166 point something years to occur. So the last time that Jupiter and Neptune were in the sign of Pisces in a conjunction was in 1856. So was it 1856? Yeah, 1856. So it's a heck of a long time ago. So this is a very important event, as far as I can see. Of course, every moment is too. Anyway, let's have a look at today's new moon, shall we? So, I'd love you. I can see I've got people watching. So let me know, where are you actually based? Where are you coming to me from? How are you finding me? And what would you like to know about today's new moon? So let's see what's going on. Right. Just going to add to the screen the charts that I'm using. I'm not going to use too many today. So today, this is the not the full moon, the new moon's chart. And the thing with the new moon is it's when the moon appears to be, from our perspective on planet Earth, it's when the moon is in the same place as the sun. So they take up that same space of sky on the zodiac. This is the zodiac. This is known as the ecliptic. Hopefully you can see my mouse going around there. Now, at the time, place and date of this new moon, which is the 2nd of March 2022, happy birthday, Mum, by the way, at 5:34 p.m. That's London time. At that time, we've got an ascendant in the sign of Virgo, and that puts the moon and the sun in the 7th house on the descendant. Now, let me just explain that a little bit. The houses show us different areas of energy. They show us different focal points, what we might want to consider. And the new moon itself, in the cycle of the moon, at the time of the new moon, it appears that there is no moon in the sky. It becomes a slither and then it disappears. It's in that kind of 0 point energy, like this zero place, this place of nothing, this place of complete detachment, that we have the new start that comes after. So after the moon goes into its new moon state, it then starts to grow. So you get the slither back and slowly the moon grows and grows and grows. And then 2 weeks later, or just about, you get the full moon and then it starts to slow right down again. I see this almost as a cosmic breath. You know, this is like the cosmic in breath and the cosmic out breath. And what's going on right now is we're just about to go into the out breath stage, where I don't know, it could be seen both ways. I guess we could be inflating our lungs or kind of really pushing something out. The whole idea of this phase, and it's known as the waxing phase that goes from the new moon to the full moon, is as the moon gets bigger, we're in a phase of growth. And that's been verified basically by gardeners and people who use the phases of the moon to do things like their haircut, to sow seeds, and to, you know, they monitor the growth phases. And so, for instance, in the next couple of days, now we're in the growth cycle, I'm going to be sowing a whole load more seeds in my garden. But anyway, we're in the new moon phase, and in the sign of Pisces. Wherever these lunar events take place, they take on the theme of the star sign in question. Now, you know, there are a couple of different ways of thinking about this. So, for instance, some people believe in Western astrology and use the zodiac as is, as I'm showing. Some people use the previous one. Sorry, I've got a bit of a sore throat. It's a bit early in the morning, and they may well think that or they may well want to hold on to the idea that the new moon is currently showing in the sign of Aquarius. It all depends on whether you're accounting for the precession of the equinox. I'll leave that up to you to decide. But anyway, what interests me more is, as this new moon is occurring, it's also in a conjunction with Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is the planet of excess, and it's the planet of hope and luck, and it has a definite growth factor to it. So anything that you add to the energy of Jupiter, it grows exponentially, and it grows very steadily. Jupiter can be quite arrogant. And so at times when there's a very strong Jupiter energy in somebody's chart, or, you know, when it's left unchecked, it can get so sure of itself that it can become a little bit bombastic. You know, it can become a little bit too much. I can see I've got a couple of, I've got someone commenting actually from the Heart Center. Now, I know who the Heart Center is, I think, but I just can't remember off the top of my head who it is. Let me know. But we've got good morning, love, from the Heart Center. Good morning to you too. And we've got a big hello from Moaz coming to us. Are you in New York at the moment, or are you in? I lose track of where you are actually, Moaz. So let us know, where are you? With a lovely Portuguese bom dia, Louisa. Yeah. Let me go back to the actual chart. So yeah, at the moment, the new moon has got a Pisces kind of flavor. I see these star signs as being almost like the sources. So you might have, you know, vegetables or meat according to what diet you have, and you might want to flavor it with a curry sauce or you know, a Chinese sauce or Thai or something like that. So right now we've got a bit of a Pisces sauce, and it's all marinating in that. And that Pisces energy is of intuition, empathy, creativity, like creativity unleashed. Really, it's a really deep creativity. It's the kind of creativity that seems boundless. One of the energy signatures of Pisces is that there are no boundaries. I think of Pisces as being a bit like the ocean. You know, you can look into the ocean and you might see a little way ahead of you, but you can't really see beyond that. And so it's like a needle in the haystack if you're trying to find something. And so the moon represents our psyche, or our emotions, and the behaviors and instincts that come from our very real behaviors. You know, so there's this very kind of unchecked energy with the moon. And if you imagine what your emotions might be like if they were unchecked, like a needle in the haystack, deeply creative and imaginative, deeply empathic and compassionate. What we're talking about here, people who are born with the moon in Pisces, and I'm one of them, we have a whole series of empaths, or people who struggle with boundaries, or both. Because, the sign of Pisces is deeply unboundaried. It doesn't like to kind of put itself in a fence unless it's learnt to do that, but the Pisces energy is unboundaried. And so we have somebody who has full access to all emotions, who really feels things, and like their level of compassion and love will overwhelm them quite easily. The energy of the moon in Pisces is actually very much overwhelm at times, in particular at times like this. They're very sensitive to what's going on. Anyone with the moon in Pisces, I recommend basically don't watch the news, or actually probably a better way of saying that would be watch what you do watch. Pay attention to the kind of water that you're putting yourself in, a bit like a fish, or a bit like the vegetables or meat I'm talking about. Be careful of the kind of sauce you're going to pick up the taste for. So it's really interesting to watch what happens when a sensitive gets put into the wrong kind of environment. So with those themes, we've got the energies of the unboundaried emotion and intuition, and the sun, which is this symbol here, that also represents our ego. So we've got like the ego, or the personality, the well-constructed side of us, and we've got the moon representing the psyche, the emotions, the intuition, both in the sign of Pisces. Now, this new moon in particular, if you are born around the 1st to the 3rd of March, this is definitely going to affect you. It's a very, very strong new moon, and powerful new moon. If you're born with the moon in Pisces, or if you've got anything in your birth chart, if you know your birth chart, if you've got anything in your birth chart from, say, 8 or 9 degrees Pisces, you see these are both happening at 12 degrees in the sign of Pisces, and Jupiter's at 14. So anything really from like 8 degrees to 16 degrees is really showing up, and your sensitivity levels are going to be heightened. In fact, we've got Neptune here at 22.55. It's edging towards 23 degrees, and that's going to become really important as we go through this. But anyway, this area here is super sensitive. It's almost like a sensitivity button, like you press it and all this emotion comes out. But you might want to wonder where this emotion comes from and what it represents. Oh, of course, the heart center. I knew it. It's Felix. Everybody, this is Felix Hyde. I actually did a video with him very recently, I think called The Holographic Universe or something like that. And he came onto my Feel Good Conversation show and was talking to me about the holographic reality. Felix at the Heart Center is amazing, and you can check out his work. You can go to www.felixhyde.com. Thanks for stopping by, bud. That's so cool. Amoas is saying, I'm in the Middle East, but my home is Phoenix. Okay, wow, I got all of that wrong then. Never mind. But you're like an international man of mystery. Wonderful. It's nice to be joined by fellas today, actually, because you know what? Often this feed, it's full of women all kind of tuning in their psychic emotions. So let me know, to all the others that are watching, I can see are watching, but they're not letting me know where they're from. Say hello. I might be able to help you with something as well. All right. Anyway, back to this. So we've got a very strong Pisces psychic sort of energy that we're being immersed into. And because I said this is the growth phase, over the next 2 weeks, this emotional psychic content is growing exponentially. And so we've got the chance to take the energy of it and work with it. So for instance, if you've got many people that watch this channel have got this light worker energy. They're either all light workers or light workers in disguise. They don't even know it. They are people who want the best for the world. Often they're people who are quite interested in enlightenment and the idea of kind of losing their grip or the grip that has them, the grip that is determining their reality. They're kind of interested in seeing the expanded perspective. For those of you listening, you might be aware that what we see and hear is a very, very small fraction of the overall bandwidth of available things that we could tune into. And so a lot of people here are really interested in tuning in and expanding what they can tune into and learning skills about how they can tune into it safely and not lose their minds. I certainly know quite a few people who've had a sudden awakening and who have kind of suffered along the way. It's a big deal. I say that not knowing. I've had moments of awakening, but nothing like a full on awakening whereby, everything that I knew has suddenly changed in a very physical way. In an intellectual way, I can understand it, but not fully in the whole body. But anyway, this is a moment in time, and I see it as opening the door to this very intense 6-week period where the collective energies of emotion and psychic energy are increasing every day. For those of you who love all things new age or all things awakening, you may have heard that, for quite some time we've been traveling through a particular part, and there's this energy wave coming towards us to enlighten us all. There are some people who believe in those prophecies. I've always felt it intuitively. I don't know, where I get my sources from necessarily, but there is this feeling that something is about to happen. And I see this 6-week period as being one of the forerunners, if not one of the biggest events to shake everyone so much that, they have to drop the manufactured reality that they see around them and that they've been born into, and that they have been cultured into, and that they can drop it and kind of shake it loose and shake it free. So this whole video is really to give you some of the steps along the way. Probably going to actually write something in an email with all of the steps. There's 17 steps in total between now and then, with a few bits of advice. So I'm trying to pace you through it and help you through it, whilst also understanding it from my own perspective, because I'd like to open up more and more and more. So here we go. So this is very, very sensitive. Something else that's happening today, which is also pretty intense, is we've got this huge conjunction of Venus here, Mars and Pluto, all at 27 degrees in the sign of Capricorn. So if you've got something between 25 to 29 degrees in the sign of Capricorn, this is also going to be triggering you. This is the energy of the femininity, the masculinity, and also the need to transform. All three of them are known as being sensual or sexual planets as well. So this is a sexual hotspot energy as well. So like if you are wanting to expand your consciousness and also meet your soulmate, this could be a month. It's got all of that energy there for that kind of sudden occurrence to come into manifestation. So, set your intentions. Now, something else that's quite interesting and exciting and that's working in the energetics of this is we've got Uranus here, which is the planet of awakening and sudden shifts and channeling, and also almost like could be like a war or like an earthquake type of energy. It kind of shakes you really suddenly. It shakes you awake, and it's very creative. It's very inventive, and it's very sort of futuristic. It's also associated with like the idea of aliens or outer space or some kind of alter. Like an altered consciousness, and it's also associated with astrology. So all of those things right now are very much aligned to this new moon energy. So what I mean by that is these energies can express themselves very quickly and very easily. Like there's this energy here, this little short sextile is known. It's almost like turning on the tap. So you're allowing that energy to flow. There's no kind of stoppage or breaks in it. So what I'm seeing here is that the emotions, the psychic energy, the expansion offered by Jupiter, and the luck and the feeling of goodwill that comes from having Jupiter so close to this in the sign of Pisces, it's exponential. It's going to happen and spread really fast, and it's going to shake us awake. And at the same time, we are going deeper into our sacred femininity, our sacred masculinity, because we carry both within us, all of us do, and also that need to have a level of control or mastery or understand what's going on. Something else that's also important, and this is very rare actually, that, you know, we've got Venus and Mars in a conjunction with an outer planet. We've also got the other personal planet. So Mercury, Venus and Mars, they're the personal ones that really represent the easy to understand ego. So we've got our communication style, our love style, our style in terms of assertion and using energy. But Mercury here is in a conjunction, an exact conjunction with Saturn, and Saturn is the energy of rules, regulations, getting organized, being responsible. So we've got we've got this divine sacred masculinity and femininity coming together, wanting to transform, give birth to itself, like a tantric energy. Then we've also got the energy of Saturn and Mercury. It's urging us to be responsible with the way we communicate, and also to think really long term. You know, like, are we just trying to enlighten ourselves for the sake of it, or are we working towards something much bigger, like creating a world that's safe for our children or for our grandchildren or for like 7 or 14 generations? You know, it's very much a wake up, we need to sort this out kind of energy. It's also in what's known as a square, and a not very flowing energy with Uranus. Now, that square is not a flowing tap, it's a blocked tap. So we've got the energy of the old responsible thinking, and also the new and zip zap kind of thinking. And they are really at loggerheads. And you'll see that in the way, I say this very purposefully, in the way that the media portray what is going on right now. So much. So yeah, there's this huge heart swell of energy. And as far as I can see, it's there for you. Now, you may well have felt this in the post. Pretty sure everyone listening in today has felt it in the post. Oh my God, we've got loads of people joining us now. Let me just quickly say hello to some of them. Lynn Patterson. Hello, Lynn from Scotland, saying, hi, Louisa. Great stuff. Thanks. That's wonderful. Thanks for joining me so early. We've also got Newbie in California, off to bed very soon. This is the second time you've checked in with me within 24 hours. That's so nice. We've got Danica. Are you coming to me from Brighton now, Danica? Denitsa, sorry, I always pronounce it wrong. Hi, lovely, wonderful to be here listening to you and your brilliant self. Well, that's so nice. We've got a little bit of friendliness between Moaz and Nubianette as well, so that's really nice. You guys are so lovely. So yeah, that's the kind of heart swell that's going on right now, and if you want to tap into it, it's all yours. So 5:34 p.m. is when it comes on. That's UK time, and also Portugal time where I am. If you want to find out where it is local to you, I suggest you go to www.timeanddate.com and look up the moon phases. And because computers are so sneaky and they know everything about you, it will locate you on the planet, whatever it is. It will locate where you are, and it will work out what time the new moon is taking place according to where you are. So that's pretty good, right? At that time, it's a good time to settle your emotions, breathe in, really think clearly about what you're hoping to manifest. And if any of what you're hoping to manifest, that heart swell, the spreading of the ideas, the passion and transformation, the balance of your sort of like gender, and also the seriousness of your intention, like how much impact you want it to have, that will all work with the energy, and it will kind of fuse together and set you free. So after that, that's the kind of opening. That's like opening the door to this Enlightenment Gateway, as far as I can see. The next thing to bear in mind then is the full moon in March. And obviously we've got a backdrop of what's going on in the media right now. Can I just say, we are entering into this time, like the sign of Pisces. Yes, it's very empathic and compassionate, and it's a beautiful sign. It is actually ruled, like each of these zodiac signs has a planetary ruler. It's almost like the zodiac sign is the child, and then it's got a parent. Sometimes it's got one parent, sometimes it's got two. And these are like the guardians of the energy. Now, Pisces, funnily enough, its guardians are actually Neptune, this planet here, and Jupiter. And Neptune takes, I think, 165 years or so, or 158 years. I can't remember the exact cycle, but it takes more than 2 lifetimes really to go all the way round. So right now, Neptune being in the sign of Pisces is a big deal. And it's been in Pisces for ages now. It is on the way out. And even though it's on the way out, you know, it's only got 7 more degrees to go. It's still going to take a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. Jupiter moves one sign at a time, like one sign a year, approximately, a little bit less than that. So it takes approximately 12 years to go all the way around. Now, if you are looking at, imagine this is a clock and you've got the minute hand moving and the hour hand moving together. This is one of those kind of moments where 2 hands come together, and it has taken 166 years for these 2 planets to come back together again. And it just so happens that these 2 planets are the parents of the energy of Pisces. So this is kind of big. It's unusual. It's something that's happening for the first time in 166 years. The last time it happened was in 1856. Now, what makes it even more interesting is astrologers consider this point here, which actually represents the first day of spring. It's 0 point in the sign of Aries. Now, this looks like a continuous cycle, and it is, but a lot of people might see life as being a spiral, you know, so you're going around the same themes again and again, but you might be going up, like you might be learning as you're going around the cycle of life, and you might be doing it a bit better, or you might be going down in it, and of course up and down are just relative, but we're going around on this cycle. But as we go round on the cycle, we always observe when we kind of get back to the beginning. And that is this bit here, 0 degrees in sign of Aries. And what I observe from this is the Aries is the start of the story. In astrology, Aries, the sign, represents the first house, or it represents the body. It represents you. It represents the sacred birth, like you coming into this world. And then we go on this journey of life of learning, you know, where we learn about our resources, we learn about our environment, we learn about our family, we learn about our creativity. And as we go around all these different signs or houses, we learn different aspects of ourselves. And the last part of this story is the 12th house, which is also equivalent to Pisces. And that is our imagination, our intuition, all the things we hide about ourselves, all the things we can't accept about ourselves. It represents our memories, our unconscious. At a greater level, it represents the great unconscious, like the Akashic records. It also represents the universe. It is absolutely vast, and it's that place where we almost can't find ourselves. The 12th house has been called the place where we undo ourselves. It is a place of mystery for sure. And so this is the last time Jupiter and Neptune come together in this current story that humanity is playing out. And so it's taking us from now until the next cycle, which is taking place in 2035 and will occur at 20 degrees in the sign of Aries. We've got this ending of a way of seeing things and a new start of us viewing our relationship and the earth. So we are ending something right now, and we're ending it with a great level of intuition. So that's why I think this is a time of magnitude. And I'm going to do some separate ones, you know, just in the last 3 days, really bizarrely. And of course, it's not bizarre. Anyone that works intuitively will know this is not bizarre at all. But just in the last few days, I have worked with 3 charts where people were born when Jupiter and Neptune were in a conjunction. Now, you know, it's always funny that whatever I'm working with comes up for me to look at. You know, that's how we work. I think that's one of the ways we have signs that there is an intuitive world out there. So anyway, the reason I was bringing this one up, this is our next stage, and it is the full moon on the 18th of March. It's Friday the 18th, and this is a time of heightened emotions where everything is like going rah. And the full moon is where the moon is in opposition to the sun. So the sun here is just at the tail end of Pisces, and the moon is in very rational, and kind of judgmental Virgo. I love Virgos, don't get me wrong, I love them, they're great, they're very natural, and they absolutely do sense what the real order of things is. And both Pisces and Virgos, the energy of them is very much to be of service to others. So what I'm seeing here in 2 weeks' time from today, on the 18th, is, or just over 2 weeks, is we've got this kind of fight between our unconscious knowing, and then our mind that is all of a sudden having this rational backlash. It's almost like we're saying to ourselves, you're conflicted, you're a crazy hippie, and you need to be sensible. It's like we're a split personality, and this will be playing out in the world. So I absolutely urge you not to pay too much attention to what is being reported right now, because the sign of Pisces is about mystery, but it's also about BS. It's also about creativity. Now, creativity can be beautiful. It can also be deception. And the sign of Pisces is about the unconscious mind, media, celebrity, politics. The way it is portrayed goes straight into our unconscious mind, and it has been programmed that way since our birth. You know, we have been hit boom, 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 boom with all of these ideas as to how the world is. I think we're coming into a time when it's all going to drop from our eyes. Like, I really think for those with eyes to see, this is a time of everything falling away as we realize that the reality that we've been in is nowhere like actually where we live, and the nature of what it is to be in a body. Like, for instance, we only know ourselves in this physical body, but what if we're actually existing in our physical body and an etheric body simultaneously? You know, like, there are so many things that we cannot perceive right now. And some people can tune in, like Felix Hyde, who's listening in. I'm pretty sure Danitza can, she's a homeopath. I hope you don't mind me revealing that. You know, there is this beautiful, beautiful energy of awakening coming up. And the reality is going to come really, really clearly to us in this time. But this is the moment where we're going to bite back. You know, our systems, our own internal systems, are going to be fighting against this around the 18th of March. And also we'll probably see that in the media, that there will be this massive backlash. There will be the media message that we've seen over the last 2 years, whereby there's been gaslighting and shaming of anyone that's been out of the narrative, anyone that's been saying things like, that's not true, you're lying, or let's have a conversation about this. And there's been this very strong rational voice saying, this is the way it is. The fact that you want to have a conversation about this means you're terrible. You know, so this is going to be playing out in 2 weeks' time. So this is something to recognize. And actually, the next step in our evolution, I think, is to recognize that we have all of this conflict within us, and actually we need to sit and get comfortable with it. We need to find a way to let both exist. It's good to have discernment, and it's good to have imagination. And when the discernment is so strict that it's killing off the imagination, then we're in trouble, and vice versa. So this is a moment of balance, and it's also a moment not to take what's going on very seriously. The best place that you can be actually is to go deep inside yourself, and to really stay anchored in the reality that you actually know about. And that is your breath coming in and your breath releasing. So every breath that you take and release, that is your reality. That is something that you are clear and grounded and anchored in. So there you go. Yes. And by this full moon, Mercury has also joined us in Pisces. So our thinking has gone from being humanitarian and reacting to another crisis that is being peddled to us. And I'm not saying it's not existing, but what I'm saying is what we're being told about it and what we need to have allegiances to is not necessarily what we should do. Really, all we can do right now is actually go into a place, not thinking of sides, but wishing that everybody on this planet is peaceful, healthy, and happy, and that things are playing out according to what people are wanting. So if somebody is wanting some kind of karma to uproot them and destroy them and create problems in their life because that's what they are wanting to voluntarily learn right now, then that should be okay. But I think this is a time where we need to be putting ourselves in a good place and spreading the love and peace as far as we can. And as Mercury goes into the sign of Pisces, we are actually starting to think like that, thinking a lot more cosmically and connectedly. Right. I'm just going to check the comments because I can see there's a lot coming in. And also, I think we're getting panned again. Lovely. So, right. So, so I've got lots of things answering things that I've asked. That's lovely. So I know where people are and what time it is in their areas. Moaz is saying the Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar. The first day of the month falls on the date of the new moon. Thank you. There are so many different cultures and ways of being that go with the lunar calendar. That's why I'm not recording with Rick this morning, because he is actually he's living in Bali and they really observe the lunar calendar. VPXM. I can't remember your name. Are you Dan? I think you are. Hello, everyone here. That's so nice. Someone's saying good morning to Carl. I don't know if he showed up, but if he did, that's great. VPXM is saying, I'm a fish. I'm so with you. I've got so much of it. I'm a Saggy, but I've got loads going on there. This is going to be a big time for you, a very sort of like cosmic time. Let me know what year you're born in, like if that's okay. Obviously, don't reveal anything you're not comfortable with. But there are some years that are like supercharged. Their drop is definitely coming. Yes, I think things are going to drop. Nubianet is saying hello as well. That's so nice. Okay, another one from Moaz. Louisa, I was surprised when I moved to the US that the full moon represents madness and crazy stuff. For Middle Easterners, the full moon is beautiful and we go on picnics at night and celebrate. I think that's beautiful. I love that. Yes, I really do like that. We've got Live Long and Prosper. Yeah, we're also interesting here. Not Crisis, just their movie. Oh, yes, I'm very much with you on that one. Sheep keep watching it. That's where I fall. I have to separate myself a little bit there because I don't want to call people sheep. But hey, I it's probably because I recognize myself in that. It actually looks like I've got a bunch of sheep behind me actually on my cloud screen. That's nice. Moaz is saying, when you want to compliment a woman, you say hello full moon, like in English when you say hi sunshine. That's really sweet. It kind of like almost sounds like you're talking about somebody's big bum. Yes, Dan. Okay, so you are Dan. Felix is saying, so funny. This is exactly what I received for my energy reports too. Yes, you can have an energy report with Felix Hyde. Felix, put the link in here if you're happy for people to sign up to your wonderful newsletter. A big push-pull of the internal dialogue, almost like an acceptance and understanding of duality, but also resistance to it. Definitely, we are also going to be very resistant. And I actually think it's kind of cool that we do have that inbuilt resistance. Right, are we ready to go deeper? Let's move on then. So the next big point, I think, is the spring equinox. And I mentioned earlier that is when we cross over from the sign of Pisces into Aries. We go to the start of the new book. Now, like I said right at the start, not everybody follows this zodiac. So some people follow the zodiac that has the precession of the equinox built into it. Now, I have done a video about that separately. And it's an interesting one. I use the zodiac according to which of my clients, what they're looking for. And most people are in agreement, irrespective of the precession of the equinox, that, this point here is 0 point Aries. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it's all relative. It's a bit like Nubinet, what time is it where you are? Moaz, what time is it where you are? Who else have we got in this thread? I know what time it is for Felix. But like for us, the time is the time in our own perception in the place that we are. And all this is, the zodiac is we've reset the clock according to our perspective, but the distance between the planets doesn't change. You know, from our perspective on Earth, we are seeing all of these planets in the same pattern wherever they're set on the clock. And I actually think the pattern is the most important thing. But anyway, the equinox, as I see it, lets us know there are 4 points to a year, a bit like the north, south, east, and west. And I see those as representing these points here, the 4, like your north, south, east, and west. And they show you your directions and they show you the key times. They are the starts of the seasons. And so on the 20th of March, at 3:34 p.m., when it starts, the sun leaves the sign of Pisces and goes into the sign of Aries. And look, you'll see here, it's 000. It's exactly at that moment of actually not being in either sign. So it's just in that nothing space. And I always think at the 4 corners, we have this moment to create something out of nothing. And the charts that come up from the moment that the sun goes into one of these 4 seasons, it sets up a chart for the next season ahead. It gives you a sort of energetic imprint for like spring until summer, and then summer until autumn. And so the other points are when the sun goes into 0 degrees in the sign of Cancer. That's the June solstice. 0 degrees in the sign of Libra. That's the autumn equinox. And then we've got 0 degrees in the sign of Capricorn, which, sorry, I pointed, that's 0 Libra there. And then we've got 0 Capricorn here. That's the winter equinox, or the December, solstice, the December solstice, the longest night of the year for the northern hemisphere and the longest day of the year for the southern hemisphere. So as this starts and it sets us off on our new trajectory, the energies, you'll see that Jupiter's edged ever closer to Neptune. Now, Jupiter's energy is expansion and hope and optimism, and it is very kind of, whoa, let's go into this. It's got loads of energy and it's really forceful. And then you've got Neptune, which is like, oh, I just want to be all spiritual and one, and I want to merge. Like, I think of Neptune as being how we escape ourselves. So at the highest expression, we escape ourselves. We lose ourselves by merging with infinite consciousness. How nice is that? Or we lose ourselves in a beautiful piece of music, or we lose ourselves in an amazing sensual experience. If we were to do that at its lowest expression, we lose ourselves because we want to forget who we are. Like, we get smashed, like we drink loads, we take loads of drugs to forget who we are. So I think of Neptune as being highly creative, but I also think it's how we lose our identity. It's definitely identity politics. So we've got this kind of either great need to lose ourselves because we can't bear to be ourselves. And I really hope that everyone here isn't in that state, but the chances are we have a little bit of that going on, because we all do somewhere. And I would imagine for most of us listening, we're also in the state of wanting to embrace and connect with each other, because that is actually what it feels like to be in our true nature. I really feel that. And I feel that right now there is this uncovering, because our true nature is bubbling up and we can't hide it now. It's just washing over us. And of course, as Jupiter gets closer and closer to this, and we're in the sign of Pisces, the great unconscious mind, the Akashic, and all of that, the possibilities for that sense of infinity is so big and vast. And I think, thank you so much. I've just been bought a Hanukkah. Thank you, Carl. Hanukkah, for those of you that are interested, is honey and apple cider vinegar in a warm drink. So that's going to be nice. In a unicorn cup, no less. How cliched are we here? So, there's this spot of infinite potential. So, as we go into spring, the signature of infinite potential for everybody, and losing the common reality and noticing that there's something much bigger, much more innocent, that comes up. Also, Mercury's right in there with it. So our mind is going with the infinite expansion. We're not going with the rational necessarily. Our mind, for this short space of time that Mercury's in the sign of Pisces for, because it zips through everything. During that time, our minds are opening, and our self-talk is so much more creative and full of wonder. It's amazing. Whew. And they're the most important things that I really want to bring about. And then the last part of this is that the North Node, which represents our collective karma, seems to be working in a very flowing energy to the Neptune energy. So it's like, be careful what you wish for, because whatever you're on this path to do, it feels even easier to achieve. It's like we're like, for those of you that are, we're coming home, like we're going home, we're going back to that space in our body. That's what we're feeling. Rather good, right? Then the next step, it's just 2 more charts I'm going to share. The next one is the following new moon, and that's in the sign of Aries. And you'll see that the moon and the sun are together. And here's the bit that we all need to watch out for. This is Chiron here. Enter Chiron into the discussion. So Chiron's known as the wounded healer. He is also the place in our chart of ultimate mastery, because if we can heal those wounds inside us, that we have had since birth, or since our first major trauma, according to when it happened, that sort of imprint stays with us often. And Denitsa and also Felix, I know that you guys work with this this kind of wound, and what I'm really sensing is we've been in such a magical place and such an open place, and a place where compassion has been rising. And when that happens, our mind-body system goes into a place of safety. And then all of those parts of us that have been disenfranchised and have been hurt and upset, they get the chance to heal. A bit like if you see a child on the floor that's just hurt themselves, they've fallen over, and they're really in their pain and they're really in their trauma. But the moment someone goes and puts their arm around them and says, it's okay, you're going to make it. Come, look, let me clean it up. And the moment someone takes care of them and they feel safe, suddenly the healing seeds can occur. So like their cut and graze might not heal, but they've made that decision. I'm safe. It's going to be okay. This is going to heal. And then all of a sudden the body knows what to do. So it takes us from that moment of trauma into that place of knowing that the healing is coming. And this is the thing, when we come to the new moon in Aries on the 1st of April, we felt so safe that we're coming slap bang right into our original, if we're very fortunate, and brave and courageous and ready for it, we come slap bang right into that place of trauma, the bit that traumatizes us, that bit that comes up for us, that we get triggered on. And it's come because of how gentle you've been with yourself, how safe you felt. So we will get through this. And the next step after releasing the trauma is to go back into that compassionate space, but with a bit more wisdom. So this is where we're coming to the last slide here. Before we do that, I'm just going to quickly check in what everyone is saying. VPXM, a very Pisces question. Why reset the clock? Because Sol system has been changed. Planets' orbits are a bit screwed up. On this scale, it take thousands more years to equalize. I don't doubt what you say there at all. I really don't. We interfere with things a lot. We impose our systems on others. I say we, actually, I don't suppose any of us are deliberately trying to impose on others, but I do believe that there has been, or there are people that are trying to impose a new way of being, or a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing things. And of course, when we reset calendars and we reset clocks, we are taken out of that place of the divine knowing of the time. And I think that's really important. Our kids who are homeschooled, or unschooled, world schooled, whatever you think, they really don't know what time it is. And some people might think, how irresponsible. And I actually think, you know what, when they need to know what time it is, they will know, because the need in them will arise, and it will, they know, they can look at a clock and know the time. But their understanding of time, it just isn't the same as it is for people who are programmed to get up at the same time, go to a particular place at the same time, know that you have 5 days of going to a place and then 2 days off. All of that takes us out of our natural understanding of time. And when we're in the natural sense of time and in that place of understanding the weather and the energies, like we can function as natural beings. I totally agree. The Heart Center is saying, thank you, love. I think that's probably for his wonderful newsletter. Okay, here's my question to you. Why do you think Earth's Schumann resonance cycle is different? Well, I've got, first of all, I'd like to put it out to everybody in this chat room, because I'm pretty sure everybody in this chat room is aware of the Schumann cycle resonance. So is it 7.38 is what it usually is. That's its resting kind of heartbeat. It's like Earth's heartbeat or Earth's breath. For any of you that are older than 25, and I'm guessing most people here are older than 25, you'll most likely have had that experience of lying down on the grass at some point and feeling the pulse of Mother Earth. I mean, I remember at school, I didn't really like it so much, but I used to lie down sometimes on the field and just feel the energy of the earth come up through my body. Well, that's why a lot of people walk barefoot on the ground, because they can feel the energy of the earth. If you're younger than 25, you won't really know the earth without tons of radiation or waves and frequency that is unnatural. So like the unnatural frequency of the internet, and then the Wi-Fi and mobile phones and this, that, and the other. I don't think children born right now have that complete understanding of the connection unless they get out in nature a lot and away from the frequencies. But anyway, the Schumann resonance has gone from that standing resting place of 7-point doodah, whatever it is, and is shooting up. And you can watch it and observe it, and it has these spikes. Personally, my feeling is that we are coming into a time where, and I say time very kind of in bunny ears, because our perception of time, it appears to be speeding up or warming up. It's almost like we're cooking. I don't want to say cooking. It's like something is going on, and something is becoming excited. From my perception in my body, it feels like our emotions, our psyche, our resonance is speeding up. We can rise with the energy and of the Schumann resonance. We can adjust our frequency, and when we do, we are definitely more open, and things are coming to us very, very quickly. But I think we're under an energy, like a wave of energy that is rising our consciousness. That's my perception of it. I'd love to know what yours is, Dan, and also of everyone else in here. Anyway, I'm going to thank you. Such a beautiful description of children being wounded. It just came to me in the moment, so I'm glad you liked it. Right, last one then. This is the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction on the 12th of April. Now, like I said, it's starting a new intuitive opening. Like, this is, I guess today, the new moon in Pisces is like the initial bit of dilation when someone's about to give birth. And over the next 6 weeks, the labia is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're dilating. We're trying to get to that optimal 10 centimeters so the baby's head can come out. And then on the 12th of April, that's what it feels like. We've got the intuitive head is coming out, and it might be coming out at some force, but it's this birthing of intuition that's coming forward. So we've been in the kind of vaginal canal. We're coming out. It's going to happen. And maybe this is like the Schumann resonance that Dan is referring to. You know, the energies are rising up and rising up and rising up. Maybe this is the great push to birth this. As I look at the chart, and this is the chart that will keep us going until the next Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in 13 years, or the next Jupiter Neptune conjunction in the sign of Pisces, which is a whole 166 years cycle, until the next great birthing of that energy. The energetics, again, we've got this lovely connection with the North Node, showing that it's like whatever karmic path we're on, it can happen more and more easily. So, you might want to just breathe into it. Do your birth. Didn't do that with any of my 3, by the way, not necessary. But we're breathing ourselves, we're calming ourselves, we're opening to this kind of whatever's going on. Pluto is in that lovely sextile as well, so the transformation is coming in. We've also got Saturn and Mars in semi-sextiles to this area. So we've got the energy of Saturn, which is about form and structure, supporting the birthing. It's like we've got someone guiding hands there. Come on out then. and Mars is giving us the energy to be able to go through the shift. The Sun is also in a semi-sextile to these guys. So our ego is kind of a little bit detached. It's kind of like looking on from the side going, wow, this is kind of interesting. In fact, the Sun and Saturn, how they work together, you know, you've got the energy of the aware adult, which is the Sun, and then you've got the energy of Saturn, which is like the parent. So you've got the two archetypes of parenting, you know, like someone who's like, okay, this is how it's going to be, and then this is person saying, well, hang on, this is who I am. There's a slight difference, but they're both about taking care and responsibility. And the midpoint between these two is this birthing, right slap bang in the middle. So it's like we understand that there's this responsible and difficult process going on, and it's kind of really special. And then the other thing that I really notice, and that's the moment that this comes into reality, the moon is at 29 degrees 47 in the sign of Leo. So it's literally just passing out of Leo and is about to go into the next sign. To me, that's an indication that we are absolutely tippy toe on a point of change. We are literally just, it's almost like we're mid-step between two worlds. And so, yeah, that's where I think we're at. And I think this is huge. So earlier I said, if you've got something around here, like 8 to 16 degrees in the sign of Pisces, it's going to be intense. But by the time we get through the 6-week period, if you've got anything in between, say 6 degrees and 28 degrees in the sign of Pisces, everything that is happening is triggering your inner cosmic code. So this is huge. And I hope that you've got the sense of exactly what's going on, that we have this great birthing energy coming about. And yeah, it's huge. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And for those of you who've been with me for pretty much the whole hour, well done. I mean, what a discussion. I've just launched into at such an early time in the morning, but this is a really intense time, and I think something really magical is going to come from it. Just going to just share the last bits. So we've got the heart center. So Felix at the heart center, bring it on. Chiron and Aries. Yes, that is a very strong time. So that's the 1st of April for that new moon, where we can look at childhood wounds. Dan is saying, thank you very much for your answer. Yes, it's true. Humans need the helping equalization of our planet's pulse. Oh, that's so beautifully put. Present frequency is very distracting without typing a book here. Wonderful. And Felix is saying, just off topic, what are your thoughts about the equinox on the 20th? Or will you do a separate video on that later? Well, I've given some of the thoughts. I may well do one. It depends on how I'm doing energetically. Full screen better. Thank you. So anyway, well done all of you for joining me today and being on this rather wonderful and interesting journey of twists and turns. It's been really beautiful to be joined with you. If you're joining me on a later showing, just thank you. I really thank everyone that is, that we're all connected together. Dare I say, whenever you're watching this, the connection that is created here is for all of us. There is something going on. We are manifesting this together right now, and I love it so much. If you've enjoyed it and you think it's going to be useful for someone then please do feel free to share it. Share the YouTube link, not my posting on Facebook, because Facebook hates me right now and it puts me right down at the bottom of any feed. So if you're sharing it, share it from the YouTube link, this link that you're using in the chat room. And also, if you want to keep ahead of things, then do please, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that will help me out, but it'll also let you know. And also, if you click on the notification thing, you'll know next time I go live. Anyway, thank you so much once again. I really hope you have a great day, and I hope you feel ready now for this great big birthing canal that we're charging into. So yeah, have a wonderful full moon. Take care. New moon. Have a great time. Bye for now.